Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Welcome to another session of AHIBS podcast. Today we have with us a very distinguished speaker, Tuan Hj Zairulshahfuddin bin Zainal Abidin, Adjunct Professor at Azman Hashim International Business School and former Chief Executive Officer of Islamic Relief Malaysia. Let us allow Tuan Hj Zairul to introduce himself. Tuan Hj, please.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning. How are you, Dr. Azam?
I am good, thank you. Very happy to have you here.
It's my pleasure. Alhamdulillah. First of all, thank you for having me with you here. Alhamdulillah. As far as my background is concerned, I've been actually serving in all the three sectors.
Okay.
Basically, when I came back from the United States in 1985, graduating in mechanical engineering from the University of Missouri in Columbia. I worked for the government sector.
Okay.
Yes, I worked for Sirim in Shah Alam from 1985 to 1991.
Okay.
And then from 1991 onwards until 2019, my journey then continued with Petronas. So then I had a chance there to be working in the headquarters as well as in various subsidiaries in Petronas. So that actually allows me then to be exposed to the corporate world. So we have got the government sector, the private sector, and in 2009, I then decided my own self. I made that decision, which is a little bit mind-blowing to some people. I don't have any problem with Petronas. I love working there. Alhamdulillah, all good. But I decided to resign and go full-time into the third sector, which is into the NGO. So then that was where a full-time journey professionally starts by becoming the executive director of Mercy Malaysia for 1 year. And then my journey continued for next 12 years to become the CEO of Islamic Relief Malaysia, which is the biggest Islamic-based humanitarian NGO in the world, based in Birmingham. But at the same time, we have been operating for the last 40 years or so in more than 50 countries. So that increased my exposure then towards the international sector in the third sector.
Right.
Now, at the same time then, my volunteerism journey started all the way about 45 years ago, since my first year in the university, which is basically 1981, 1982, when I was being elected to be the committee member of the Malaysian Student Association and the Muslim Student Association. So that was another another experience as well, another milestone in my life journey.
I see.
So roughly it's that.
Okay.
Anyway.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Haji, for this life story. We really have the best person to be talking about the third sector with experience in the other two economic sectors. So we're going to have today a very in-depth and balanced discussion on the non-profits. What we're going to talk about today is the difference between managing a non-profit and managing a business entity. Because obviously they are two different beings with two different objectives. So what we're going to do, or rather how we're going to start, is by inviting Tuan Hj Zairul to talk about the difference between managing a non-profit organisation or NGOs and managing a for-profit institution or a business. So Tuan Hj, how vast is the difference?
Yeah. It's an interesting question.
Yeah.
How vast, it depends on your mindset.
Okay.
How do you want to put it in?
All right.
I would prefer to take this route by saying that working for a government or for a private sector, for a corporate sector, the bottom line is about profit and loss.
Yes. Of
Right?
course. Yeah.
It's either ship out or ship out.
Yes.
If you don't perform, out you go.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So the dilemma has been when you start to move and start to bring professionalism into the non-profit sector, this is where the challenge begins.
Okay.
Because in the mindset of people, especially in Malaysia, what we see is that, wow, if you want to be involved in a non-profit organization, number one is definitely we're not making profit. Yes, that's for sure. But at the same time, they were thinking that this is an after work kind of thing.
Okay.
You don't need the governance there, number one.
Uh-huh.
There's no need to the governance because it's all charity, you know. So we just do whatever you like, financial management, don't worry about it, don't worry about reporting. Number two is they were thinking that this is my afterlife after you retire.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I said, but after 60, what else can I do? Because physically, I'm not there anymore. So that was among the reason why I decided to resign at the age of 48. Because I need to spend the next 12 years or so, still in best part of life, alhamdulillah, to give the best to the people. So that's basically the two stark or vast difference there. One is very material based, and one is a very high sense of purpose, which you don't see the tangible impact directly. But then the fulfillment, the satisfaction of helping people, of empowering people is there. So moving on from that, my challenge has been to bring the professionalism and the experience I've got when I was in Syrian, when I was in Petronas. In fact, I did some part-time lecturing, by the way, in 1987 in UTM. I was teaching material engineering, thanks to the professor at that time. So in a way, there are three sectors there as well, a little bit on the academic side. So it's trying to bring the best in this industry into the NPOs or into the third sector. And that has been a challenge all the while. Because bringing professionalism, as an example, I believe that people who are going into the non-profit, especially the youngsters now, thousands of them going into it, because they've got something that they feel empty inside, and they want to have that self-fulfilling thing. They want to have that satisfaction which money cannot buy. Which money cannot buy. So as many of my friends I've seen, in fact, they were actually asking me, "You sure you wanted to resign because basically your life in Petronas have been good?" Okay, I'm not saying that my salary was okay. Alhamdulillah, it was okay.
It's a comfortable life.
It's basically you are in the top Fortune 500 Malaysian company in the world, and then suddenly moving to an NGO, which they say that, hey, will this NGO be able even to pay for your salary in the next month? Then I said, let's go back to our basic teaching and our basic understanding of Aqidah. Is your salary or your sustenance being given by the company or by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Yes, exactly.
Then of course everybody was like, okay, we understand. So I said I move on. Alhamdulillah, I was happy with what I'm doing, giving the best to the nation in its best way. But the challenge has always been about professionalizing and having humanitarian as a sector that would advance, that has its own career path, like becoming yourself taking PhD in economics or the banking side, or become professional doctor, things like that.
So I can see two things here. What you're talking about is, one is the financial part. The other one is the career part. So let's talk about the finance. As a manager of an NPO NGO, how do you phrase your financing? What are the challenges in raising finance for a non-profit?
Thank you so much. I guess this is something else as well in the normal mindset of people, which we don't blame them. It's about education and educating them, So they were having in mind that once you are in an NGO, it's about volunteerism, which means it's pro bono, which means it is free, which means that, whatever insight, whatever experience we have, whatever manpower, your physical power you're using, is all free, which is definitely not.
Yes.
I need to have. I used to lead until about 40 full timers in Islamic Relief Malaysia, and of course quite a couple as well in Mercy Malaysia at that time. For a very basic but important reason, that whatever that is being entrusted by the community or by the donor to an NGO is an amanah.
Yes.
It has to be accountable. It has to be transparent. So, doctor, you need people then to go down to the community and do the assessment. From the assessment, then we prepare a proposal.
Okay.
You need someone who has got experience to write that proposal, right? In the most
and
professional.
that experience is not free.
That experience is not free. And then of course they need petrol, they need to pay for the toll and so on. They need some allowance to go out to the community, and some community is not easy to go in. Now, having the proposal there, and then at the same time putting in the financial. I just would like to clarify and say that a certain percentage of our operation expenses is actually for our salary.
Yes.
They are salaried people, but what I wanted to make sure is that they have got a salary scheme, like how I work in Petronas and how you were working in the banks or somewhere else before. There's a career path.
Yes.
And this is the thing that unfortunately people out there might appreciate, but they might not understand, because the mindset has been, alah, this is all kebajikan, you know, so
Yes.
just do it for free.
Yeah.
We don't care how you spend the money and so on. And that is where what you see now. You are seeing you are seeing now so many mushrooming scammers coming in to
Yes.
set up so many non-profits.
Scandals.
You know better than me.
Yes.
You know better than me.
Yeah. So okay, you have that challenge of getting the funding, and also challenge of managing the funding. But what about the human resources?
Yeah.
You're saying that people expect it to be
Yeah.
free, but
Yeah.
when you work in an NPO, you still have your bills to pay.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so how do you attract people, especially young people? We hear of a lot of our graduates not getting jobs that they want. Maybe the third sector is another employment opportunity. So how do you attract them? I mean, how can you sell the third sector as a viable career choice?
Yeah. Definitely, I can't talk on behalf of other NGOs.
Yes, of course,
I've got the
yeah.
authority to talk
Based on your experience.
Based on my experience, yes. Number one is, of course, as far as the youth is concerned, they would need some kind of a security. Number two is they would need some kind of a career path.
Exactly.
It cannot be like the next 2 or 3 years just doing the same thing again and again. Yeah. So for that to happen, as the CEO, as the one in the number one, being empowered or being given that amanah by our board of trustees, what I did was I planned for actually a 5 years career path.
Okay.
There is a career path. There is a salary scheme, which means if you're a graduate or if you come in as a diploma, but you have got NGO experience, whatever, we have got our profiling of what is your entry salary. But then, of course, at the same time, because our challenge is always about sustainable funding, sustainable funding. So we're not like government also, which you know you can get a grant, whatever.
Yeah.
So what we cannot guarantee to most of the staff is there's no guarantee of increase in salary.
I see.
Definitely bonus is out of the question. Yeah. But then I still managed in 2017 to give them so-called a small bonus. But don't get me wrong here.
Yeah.
You know, because for the whole project cost, there's we are allowed to take until about maximum in Islamic relief that time. I set it at 15% as our operating expenditure, OPEX. So from there, from that percentage, I took a small percentage just to give back to them and say, look, you've done a good job. And
Yes. Yeah.
we are not taking it from the percentage that is meant for direct cost for the beneficiary.
For the beneficiary.
So principle must be very
Yes.
clear
Yeah.
there. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's just within, and that is within the means of the law,
Yeah.
because we were registered under CLBG. Right.
SSM lah.
Yes, SSM. Fundraising is friends raising. That's the next one I wanted to say. Yeah. Anyone who ever graduated from anywhere, from any field, is entitled to become a non-profit staff.
Yeah. Yes.
A non-profit staff. In fact, what I can say is, when I was in Petronas, as an example, when I go to Sabah and Sarawak, I will meet people who are related to oil and gas.
Okay.
But when I go there again to actually help and assist the people in Sabah and Sarawak as a humanitarian, I'm meeting all sorts of people from all sectors, you know. So it gives you that kind of divergence to actually explore, creative, and see and test your interpersonal skill. So that doesn't actually require from a specific social science also. Can be from economies, from actual science. The main thing is if you want it, inshallah you'll be there. And I've been there.
Okay.
So of course, then among the attraction to the youth is, yes, because they see Islamic relief, it's global, and of course the initial mindset is, if I join, can I go for overseas mission? I said not necessarily, you know. I always make it very clear to the team. I said, if you are just coming here for the money, sorry, this is not the place.
of
You go
course,
somewhere else. If you're coming here that you want to be in TV, radio, again, go to TV3, go to somewhere else. It's not. But alhamdulillah, because of one of the 3 missions in Islamic relief, and even in the current NGOs whom I am advising now, I said awareness is important.
Exactly.
You know, that advocacy work is important to make people understand.
Mhm.
So because of that, you become more frequent going into the media. Because media would actually call you because they know that you do not have a business interest there.
Yeah.
It's all for the people, it's all for the nation, it's about empowering and so on.
Mhm.
So I get quite a number of free slots. I have to thank the media for that, for whatever reason, alhamdulillah. And I believe in empowering the youngsters. I've got my staff at that time at 27, 28 years old. They were already in the media, and they talk confidently.
Yeah, yeah,
Either about
because-
stakeholders management, about
Mhm.
managing donors,
Mhm.
about implementing the project, monitoring the project, and so on.
Mhm, mhm.
So that, in a way, is an attraction to the youngster, as well as that is the challenge which I took to convince the corporate donors. Look, you guys are giving us here quite a big sum of money. This is how we're going to be doing the assessment. This is how we're going to be reporting. They see the process flow. They see the financial management. It's all crystal clear.
Right. Okay. So you're talking about the mission, yeah? So, and you mentioned that the mission is for the beneficiary. Yeah? So to sum this thing, this discussion up is the mission of a non-profit is to serve the beneficiary,
Exactly.
as opposed to the mission of a business is to serve the shareholders. The objective of the business is to make sure the shareholders are happy. The objective of an NPO is to make sure the beneficiaries are getting what they need or what they deserve.
Just to add on
Yeah.
from that question, we also have our stakeholders management analysis.
Okay.
Non-profit. Of course, our biggest stakeholder is the government, the authorities,
Okay.
as well as the donors.
Mhm.
Of course, the biggest or our real boss are the beneficiaries,
Beneficiaries,
the
yeah.
people
Yeah.
whom
That is
serve.
our amanah.
Yes, that's the biggest amanah.
Yeah.
So it's about how can I say it? It's about managing business, but you're not doing business.
Yeah.
It's about doing business, but you're not making profit.
Yeah.
It's about making sure that the fund is being given to the right people at the right place and the right time and for the right intervention. That is why the term which I like to use is beneficiary driven and not donor driven.
Okay.
So the non-profit is normally beneficiary driven. I mean, if a particular NGO is being set up, if the mandate is for medical purposes, then you would actually design your program or your intervention or your monitoring and evaluation or your proposal for, say, hospital, training of the doctors, the nurses, and so on and so forth. Yeah. If a particular non-profit is designed for, say, shelter, then there'll be all the civil engineering stuff and
Yeah.
about constructing the tent, building of the houses, and so on and so forth. So we've got clear mandates. We cannot be simply using the money for something else.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Another simple example. You might be getting a fund. This is all from experience.
Okay.
You might be getting a fund of a certain RM1,000 to build a house,
Okay.
but for the elderly, example. Yeah. But suddenly, that particular NPO decided to make use of that money to build a house, but for the youth.
Okay.
So, do you think, doctor, is that correct?
That would be contradicting your mandate because the donors expect you to spend the money for this specific purpose, but you're using it for something else. Although it's still noble, but it is not respecting the wishes of the donors. I mean, that would be my thoughts.
That's
Yeah.
spot on. Thank you so much. Yeah, spot on. Yeah.
So we have seen how the differences in managing the finances of an NPO. We've seen the difference in managing the human resources. So I think what we can take from here is the non-profit sector, the NGO sector, the third sector, it is not something part-time. It is a full-time sector, right? It offers you a career. It offers you a learning experience. It offers you the satisfaction of what do you say? Satisfaction in life, lah. Achieving your non-monetary, non-material objectives. So to end this session, can you maybe share with us a bit on where you think the sector will moving forward
In Malaysia?
in Malaysia? Yes.
Okay, I'm just praying. I'm just hoping. Might not see this during my lifetime. I don't know. Allahu Alam. But I would like to. I'm dreaming to have our third sector to move on in something like we have like a charity commission in the UK.
Okay.
Okay, that has been our benchmark, by the way. So big names like Save the Children, Oxfam, Islamic Relief, and so on. Yeah, of course, we are not perfect. Of course, they have got their processes, their monitoring, their audits, and so on there. But human being human, sometimes of course things happen.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, because maybe nowadays I think even sometimes on certain things it's even worse than what is happening in the corporate world, because it's an industry easy money.
Yes.
You're just luring from people's trust and do something else. Yeah, but may Allah protect us from this. I just would love to see this growing third sector, which is growing in Africa, so rapidly, as well as in Europe, for that matter. For whatever non-profit organization you're going to be, please do it professionally. Please take that opportunity, because there's a vast learning channel that you can make use of. Whether you've got a degree, you've got a master's, you've got a PhD, there's always room for you.
Okay.
There's always room for you, because in volunteerism, you can be actually contributing physically, which is normal that you see, carrying all the blocks and
actually
and
doing
the
work.
bags, the actual doing work, and then at the same time, some people might have just the money, the funds.
You haven't got the
So
time.
You got time, money,
Just give the money. Yeah.
expertise.
Yep.
You can be just advisory, experience, networking, for that matter.
Yep.
Someone here and there and can link you up. So in a nutshell, it's to me it's very satisfying thing. I never regret going back. I never regretted my time resigning from corporate
Into the
thing, and I believe there's more that needs to be done. Then hopefully, inshallah, more people will be more transparent, will be more truthful, will be more professional in managing the stakeholders or the funders fund. To actually help the poor, to empower people. Because at the end of the day, you're talking about 1 out of every 7 or 8 people sleeps hungry in the world. Sleeps hungry, not because they are lazy, but because it's either because of man-made disaster, war and so on, conflict and whatever, or natural disaster. So circumstances, of course, is either natural or man-made. Because of Allah SWT, because of Mother Nature, they call it, or because of war and whatnot, genocide, whatever. Yeah. But at the same time, that gives us an opportunity for many of us to jump into this non-profit. Do it professionally, because a lot of people out there that needs help.
Yeah.
That actually needs
And
help.
at the same time, you're saying that we should regulate the sector so that nothing unhealthy will happen.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah. To sum things up, yes, the third sector is a viable career option. It is rewarding spiritually, but at the same time, we need to behave ourselves and not abuse the trust given to us as those entrusted with helping with the beneficiaries. So, thank you very much, Tuan Hj, for joining us. It's been a fruitful discussion, and I'm sure everyone will benefit a lot from this. We have more coming up, so please look out for our next podcast in the AHIBS podcast session. With that, thank you very much, and we will see you soon.